Alright, hey guys, today I wanted to talk about anger. Um,
Don't get angry.
so when I was younger, I was very often hurt. I think I mentioned to you guys before about a lot of my past hurts. Um, I grew up in a culture of shame where everything was wrong, everything was perceived as wrong, and you were made to feel guilty and bad and evil if you did anything outside of very strict guidelines. I was bullied in school, all from preschool all the way through high school and early college, which is why now I go to online school because somehow it's a little easier to deal with students online than it is in person. Um, I grew up in an abusive household, so there was a lot of abuse. I was often disappointed in my upbringing and my parents and other people and the way that they treated me, and like people would make promises and break them. And to me, if you know me, honesty and keeping your promises are some of my highest values. So to me, that was always very disappointing. There was a lot of angry behavior modeled in my childhood from the adults around me. My grandma was going senile, so she was constantly randomly losing her temper and throwing things and screaming and calling people names. She once kicked me out of a van. She literally kicked me out of the van. She was very angry when I was growing up. She was either like emotionless, sad, or angry, it seemed. My dad had a lot of anger when I was a kid. He had quite a temper problem. My mother was just a ball of anger all the time. When those two got together, it was like an explosion. So there was that. The triggers for it, what triggers me is for my anger is it's something like, some people I know get angered when things remind them of it. Sometimes I get a little bit upset or slightly angry whenever I start to feel shame because I don't feel like I should still feel it, but I do. And it makes me mad at myself because I haven't grown past it. The only time I get angry about the abuse is whenever I am in so much pain it hurts to move. Like if I get in so much pain that moving is almost impossible, then I get angry about it. But otherwise, I usually don't feel anger towards it, even if I'm reminded. Typically, it's just a fear response. I do get angry when I think about times where people have broken promises, or times where the one time where I was forced to break a promise, but we did make that up, so that's good. Sometimes I get a little bit angry when people say hurtful things to me, but it passes within a couple minutes. And sometimes I get angry whenever I am blamed for things that aren't really my fault, which I think is normal, or whenever people tell me that my history of abuse has to be partially my fault because I'm the one that made the decisions to be there. And I'm like, well, I may have made the decision to start the relationship, but staying is a different matter. It's not really a choice. It's something that it's hard to leave, and it's scary to leave, and sometimes there isn't really a choice. And if you've been in an abusive situation, you understand that. However, I do feel like, in part it was my responsibility, because you're right, I did make the choice to start the relationship. I did make the choice to ignore the beginning signs. I did make the choices that I made. But I didn't know how those choices would turn out. I thought, because everyone has bad days, so I don't know. I'm learning to be better at that. It's all the time whenever I get angry, it's irrational. Like, I'm dealing with so much stuff all the time, and then one little thing will just set me off. So I tend to be irritable. But I do recognize it, and I am working on it. Anger isn't all bad, though. It can help push you towards your goals. It's helpful to release some of that steam early on so you don't explode like I tend to do, because I don't. But it is helpful to release some of that steam, because like if you just let it keep building and building and building, then it just, you blow up. And but if you let it out a little bit here and there, then it's not so bad. Sometimes anger can help us fight to right wrongs, but we just have to be careful not to cause more wrongs. Anger can help us be assertive and help us at the time to feel like we have more control of a situation than we might. Or so some things that I've started to do whenever I start to get angry is I try to take some deep breaths. If that doesn't work, then I'll try to take a timeout where I separate myself from whoever is around, so that way I can calm myself to respond better. Sometimes I'll write about why I'm angry, go for a walk to clear my mind, listen to calming music. Sometimes I'll think about why I'm really angry, because a lot of the time it's just that little thing that set me off, but there's deeper reasons to why I'm angry. Sometimes I need to eat something because I'm just emotional because I haven't eaten yet, because I do forget to eat for sometimes a couple days at a time. Do cross stitch because that's my stress relieving activity. Sometimes I talk to a friend or talk to my counselor about why I'm angry, and sometimes I scream or punch a pillow or whatever. But just get it out here and there, and that'll definitely help with the anger, because if you just keep it bottled up, eventually you're going to explode, and you're going to explode on someone who doesn't deserve it for a stupid reason that you aren't even really mad about. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Go and spread the love, because love always wins.